Hello, welcome to part 5 of my videos where I ramble on for 10, sometimes 20 minutes about the films in the Harry Potter series. So I literally just finished watching Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I didn't watch it on Monday like I normally do, mainly because I've been working overtime all this week and I just haven't had the time. So I just watched it. So what you're getting now are my really immediate reactions and thoughts to the film. So my general impression, I liked it. I liked it better than Goblet of Fire. I liked it actually about as much as I liked The Prisoner of Azkaban, maybe slightly more. I think it may be my favourite of all of them so far, which I thought actually might happen, funny enough, because Goblet of Fire is my favourite book, but it's like my least favourite movie so far. Order of the Phoenix is my least favourite book, but it's my favourite movie. I mean, The Order of the Phoenix, the book, let's be honest here, it drags on. The movie doesn't, which is quite good. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. It's a really well-paced film. You never feel like any scene is too short or too long. Generally speaking, the acting's okay. There are some real standout performances, and then there's, I think, actually, the performance of both Emma Watson and Rupert Grint in this one is a little, particularly Rupert Grint, isn't as good. Daniel Radcliffe takes a bit of a step up in this film. But the standout performance was Imelda Staunton as Dolores Umbridge. I hated Dolores Umbridge in the book. I mean, it's that she's written that way so that you do hate her because she's awful. But yeah, Imelda Staunton somehow was able to make me hate Dolores Umbridge all over again. Just awful. Just everything about her is just. If J.K. Rowling had literally just written a villain to annoy Johnny, that would be it. Like, just, I hate her. She's such an awful character. In the best, in kind of, I guess, the best way, in that she's a villain that's so awful that you kind of that you just hate her. And Imelda Staunton does a fantastic job of just portraying the sickly sweetness, the sort of, I mean, sociopathic kind of hatred she clearly has for the kids. Her sort of fascist tendencies. Yeah, she's awful. I liked Michael Gambon better in this film. He doesn't have a total personality malfunction. He's much closer to what I imagine Dumbledore to be. In fact, he's probably spot on to what I imagine Dumbledore to be in the film. I should look up actors' names, but the girl who plays Luna Lovegood is really good, actually. I don't know whether that's a controversial opinion or not, but obviously I haven't been around Harry Potter stuff for long enough to know what I'm saying is controversial. But generally speaking, I liked her. I thought her performance captured Luna's personality really, really well, actually, for someone who's only, what, like 16 or whatever when she does the films. I keep having to move forward because my chair keeps hitting the back of the desk and squeaking, and it's really annoying me. So yeah, I really enjoyed their performances. Again, I'm just gonna mix up what I did and didn't like just as I think about it. I'm not gonna split it up into two sections. Snape is really underused in this film, as is Remus Lupin. Like, they're just not in this film enough. Like, we all know what's coming in the next film. It's huge emotional stuff in the next, well, I suppose it's 3 films, I guess. I just don't think that the movies have done the legwork of building up his character. And I mean, Alan Rickman makes up for it for being an amazing actor, and he makes you believe that he is Snape. It just, in the only way Alan Rickman can, really. But I don't think the work that they've done in these in the sort of first 5 films has built up his character anywhere near enough for what's coming next. Particularly in Half-Blood Prince, like it's just not gonna. I don't know. I just feel like he's just not in it enough. And McGonagall is not in it enough either. For you to really love her as a character, because she's phenomenal. But yeah. Dobby's not in this film either. He wasn't in the last film. I don't know why I didn't mention that, but he's not in. I did, yeah. I mentioned about Spew, and the House Elves in general, but he's not in that film. Creature's not in this film enough, and I mean, I'm just like, these are like really, actually really quite important characters, and they're just not used enough. And I suppose it's a bit like the Lord of the Rings films, where they had to pick and choose because they wanted to focus on Frodo and Frodo's journey. I guess they wanted to focus on Harry and Harry's journey, and to have to put more effort, I guess, into ancillary characters, and maybe I guess just the 3 of them, Harry, Ginny, and Ron, to put more effort and more writing and more direction into characters like Creature and Dobby and McGonagall and Snape and stuff. You can do that in a novel, but maybe in a movie it's just not possible to do that. Or maybe they felt like it wasn't possible. I mean, you've got 10 hours of film there right now, or more, like 12 or 13 maybe. But still, yeah, it just, I mean, Snape should have more time. McGonagall should have more time. I mean, it transfers over into the movies, but actually a criticism I have of the books, actually, one of the things that annoyed me about the books is they don't build up Harry and Ginny as a thing enough. It sort of it doesn't come out of nowhere, but it's yeah, there's no, she doesn't have a relationship with I can't remember his name, the character. If she doesn't have a relationship with him, with that dude in this film, as well, which I think shortchanges her character a little bit. She's actually in it more. They obviously directed in such a way that she's giving reactions to Harry and Cho, which I thought was quite good. Harry and Cho was basically like the way it is in the book, except they don't have their awkward date, where Cho gets really annoyed with Harry. Or is that in the next one? Is it in the next one? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So he, so yeah, it's about as awkward as it is in the book. I mean, the kiss that they share is pretty damn awkward. I mean, they're sort of teenage actors. I think they're about 17 or 18 maybe when they did that film. So, it's gonna be pretty awkward anyway. But sorry, overtime all week. I am tired. But yeah. So yeah, Imelda Staunton is a standout performance. Snape is not used enough. McGonagall's not used enough. Ginny's a bit shortchanged. There are some changes. I mean, this didn't have as many changes as the Goblet of Fire. But one of the things they did omit from the Department of Mysteries were all the other rooms, like the Room of Time. For instance, that's just totally gone. They have the Room of Death, and obviously where Sirius gets killed. Spoilers. But what they did change was that Dumbledore isn't there until later, when Harry and Voldemort are in the lobby of the Ministry of Magic. How Dumbledore fights Voldemort is changed, so Dumbledore doesn't make the golden statue come to life to block the Avada Kedavra curse from getting to Harry. Yeah, so there. I think that whole thing had quite that whole the Ministry of Magic scenes really had a lot of changes. They also totally omitted, actually, one of the big changes actually was they totally omitted Quidditch from this film, and Ron being chosen as the keeper and Ginny being put in to replace Harry, which I like. Again, shortchanges Ginny's character it shortchanges Ron, because that whole thing in the Order of the Phoenix where he gets chosen as keeper, but he's not very good, and he knows he's not very good, but he has it in him to be better, but he just doesn't believe he can be better, is what made me really relate to Ron. Also, his ability to put his foot in it all the time, the stuff that he says is yeah, just I feel you, Ron Weasley. Like, anyway, silly thing to say. But yeah, so yeah, that was a big omission, which shortchanged a number of characters a little bit in this film. Ron, just in general, is another one who isn't in this film enough. It's funny, I really actually enjoyed this film, and yet I'm full of negative things about certain characters. I think it's just Imelda Staunton's performance, and the fact that Daniel Radcliffe kind of steps it up as Harry Potter. Michael Gambon is way better as Dumbledore, and those kind of make up for it a lot. So yeah, I felt like the general feel of this film captured the kind of darkness and seriousness of the book. It was, less it was less not frivolous is maybe not the right word, but it was less happy than the rest, which is true. I mean, when you start reading Order of the Phoenix, it's about to go down. Like, it just, from the very beginning, it's all about to go down. And it does over the next 2 books, the next 3 films. So yeah, I actually thought the film did a really good job of capturing that upping of the stakes. Yeah, so I quite enjoyed that. Sirius, again, really, I thought, my thoughts at the beginning of the film, I felt like he wasn't maybe in it enough. I was like, where's Sirius? This is kind of, he's in it, but he's maybe not in it enough at the beginning. But then as the film goes on, you have the scene in the fire where you don't get Dolores Umbridge's hand coming in at that point, interestingly enough, which means you don't get the whole thing about her monitoring communications. But Sirius actually got a good showing in this film, actually, I thought. Gary Oldman gets to play the character really well. Again, not exactly like I would have imagined Sirius Black in the books, but anyway. Yeah, so he gets a good showing, unlike Snape and Remus. I mean, why Remus isn't in this film more, oh gosh, I don't know. Oh, Remus, why shortchange Remus? Remus is my favourite character, that really annoys me. Again, I like this film. I genuinely like this film. I genuinely is my favourite so far. It just, maybe it's just all, I'm doomed to think all the films aren't as good as the books, and maybe they aren't. I'll report on the next 3 and we'll see. But yeah, generally speaking, this as a standalone film, I feel its strength was that it was really well paced. The soundtrack actually was really quite good. It worked in the background of the film, just adding to the mood and the tension and excitement when it needed to. And the look of the film I thought was better than, say, Prisoner of Azkaban, which is a bit too natural for me. It had a bit more of the magical and a bit more of the sort of colour filtering going on, which helps you make it feel more like it's kind of otherworldly. So yeah, in terms of score, actually I'd put this one at a 7.5 out of 10. It's my favourite so far, and I'd give it 4 stars actually. And again, I'm grading these in relation to each other, not in relation to other films. So yeah, I'd give it about a 4. It's 4 stars out of 5, 7.5 out of 10. It's my favourite so far. It was really quite enjoyable, and although I have a lot of negative things to say about it, it had it you know, none of its sins were as bad as, say, Dumbledore in the last film, you know, or the emissions in Goblet of Fire. But yeah, I really hope in the next film, Snape needs to get more in the next film, please. Snape and McGonagall and the rest of them need to get more in the next film. I actually enjoyed The Half-Blood Prince as a book, you know, fairly well. It you know, it obviously introduces, you know, really the end game of defeating Voldemort and what they have to do. So yeah, we'll see if the film can hold up, and I'm gonna get some more sleep this week, and hopefully not have to do so much overtime, so that I can do one of these videos a bit more properly next week. I feel like this one was a bit disjointed. They're all a bit like that anyway. So yeah, see you next week.